Team USA has never won 3 consecutive World Basketball Championships. In fact, at the 2019 World Cup in China, the United States posted its worst ever finish at a World Cup with a 7th place finish. These results cannot happen again, and during this video, we are going to explain to you why the team led by Gregg Popovich should win the tournament with ease. The roster has without any doubt a great depth, probably the greatest of the whole tournament. All Team USA players have proven their worth in the NBA, by far the most demanding basketball competition in the world. And this depth is palpable at all positions from point guard to center. In fact, the team's guard rotation is composed of some of the league's top young talent. We have to go all the way back to mid-2022 to watch Jalen Brunson explode. After a great performance with the Dallas Mavericks during the playoffs, Mark Cuban's franchise didn't see the point guard as a star. But the Knicks appreciated his talent and offered him a contract that over time has become very profitable. Brunson has exploded this season, becoming one of the most efficient point guards in the league. But there is a player who has managed to take away his spot for the All-Star weekend and is also selected with Team USA. Tyrese Haliburton has become a first-class organizer, in addition to being a great scorer. And the blessed problem Gregg Popovich is going to have will be choosing which one will be the starter for the team. 2 players with different profiles who share the fact of being authentic outside threats that will open the court for the rest of their teammates. At the shooting guard position, Team USA will also have some top-notch young players at its disposal. In this case, it is quite likely that the starter will be Anthony Edwards, as the player has managed to lead the Minnesota Timberwolves, which is a team loaded with talent. AntMan is one of the players with the most potential in the league who has already shown his abilities, and who will offer the roster the intensity and physicality that is so necessary at the international level. But from the bench, Team USA will have other key players with different profiles that will allow them to adapt to their opponents according to their needs. Just 2 years ago, Austin Reaves was a young player who stood out in Division I, but nobody knew if he would even be drafted. In fact, it was the player himself who recently stated that he preferred to be undrafted to choose his destination.
We could have got drafted 42nd to Detroit, but kind of declined that to kind of put me in LA for a better spot.
But 2 years later, the shooting guard has become one of the most important pieces of the Los Angeles Lakers that has managed to reach the conference finals. Reaves is a bit of a representation of anarchism, a player who is capable of changing the course of a game with his mere presence. This role can be vital to break games or to recover advantages on the scoreboard. For his part, Josh Hart, the last guard in the rotation, will bring other aspects of the game such as rebounding, thanks to the fact that he is one of the best players in this part of the game at his position in the whole world. It will be difficult for all guards to get the minutes they want, but what is clear is that the depth of the US bench at the guard positions is unrivaled. Not even Canada, which has managed to put together the most competitive team in its history, can match them, at least by name. One of the aspects that could take a toll on the team's consistency is the lack of a third player who can naturally play small forward. But on the other hand, it is true that the 2 players that Gregg Popovich will have at his disposal at this position are incredible talents. Just a few years ago, Brandon Ingram's playing style and physicality were constantly compared to Kevin Durant. And yes, it's true that the forward is not going to end his career as one of the best scorers in NBA history, but he has become a player who was an all-star at the young age of 22. His presence in a Pelicans team that has not been able to be at the highest level due to the injuries of its star, Zion Williamson, has been boosted. His size and ability to create shots will be assets that very few outside players on the international scene will be able to guard. Mikal Bridges, meanwhile, has just enjoyed his breakout season with the Brooklyn Nets after being traded from the Phoenix Suns in exchange for Kevin Durant. The small forward is one of the most complete players at his position, being a great defender and a player with a scoring ceiling that we have not yet been able to glimpse. Precisely, we have to go back to that Kevin Durant trade at the 2023 deadline to find the next Brooklyn player who joined Mikal Bridges in the World Cup. Cam Johnson will probably be the last piece of Team USA's forward rotation after performing well as the Brooklyn Nets' second most important player during the second half of the season. But he certainly won't have an easy time getting minutes at a position that is more than covered by other players, such as Paolo Banchero. The Orlando Magic player has had one of the most underrated rookie campaigns in recent years. in part because he is with a franchise that has not been competing on a regular basis for a long time. However, it is expected that the power forward of the Florida team will be one of the leaders of the team despite his young age, a player capable of everything, scoring from all positions on the court and who is also able to create the shot with ease. Bobby Portis, meanwhile, will bring the experience needed to win any title thanks to his 28 years of age and his pivotal role in the Milwaukee Bucks' success during the 2021 title run. Traveling back in time, it's easy to see how Portis struggled to find his footing in the NBA, even having serious incidents with former teammates like Nikola Mirotic. Portis fractured the bones in his teammate's face, keeping him off the court for a few games. A completely different player who has been able to control his emotions and become one of the most sought-after bench players in the league. Players like Bobby bring the intensity that is able to differentiate a good team from a top team, and his leadership will be appreciated above all in the chemistry of the whole team. At the center position, Team USA will enjoy two other young players who still have a lot of potential. One of them is Jaren Jackson Jr., who has the ability to become one of the best defenders in NBA history, is already an established player in the league today, All-Star NBA Defensive Player of the Year and a great piece of the Memphis Grizzlies core. A bright caliber who will provide the United States roster with one of the best rim protection in the world, and who also has a really wide shooting range. His replacement from the bench will be the rookie Walker Kessler. After being selected in the 22nd pick of the 2022 draft, the player has had a season that has exceeded all expectations. A player who has averaged 2.3 blocks in just 23 minutes per game during his rookie campaign with the Utah Jazz, and who will be in charge of being the defensive anchor during the minutes that Jaren Jackson is not on the court. It makes sense, but no team in the World Cup has this kind of versatility in its roster. As we have said, Canada's squad is the only one that may be able to stop Team USA, which has done a great job putting together the best young talent in the country. However, it is clear that this youthness is a unique aspect of the US team, and that the rest of the teams do not share this philosophy. Veteran players tend to lead the different countries of the world in the process to achieve the greatest feat in international basketball, and age is an aspect that can be detrimental to a team where the oldest player is 28 years old. But on the other hand, Team USA's average talent is nothing short of amazing, despite not having the best player of the tournament. A title that should be disputed by players like Luka Doncic in Slovenia or Giannis Antetokounmpo in Greece. The American team has 12 of the 20 best players of the tournament. Defensive specialists, players with the ability to open the court, and physical wonders offer profiles that will provoke adjustments from opposing coaches. At this stage of the film, any result other than taking home the gold medal would be a disappointment. And we all know that people remember those rosters that were unable to even achieve a medal. So the margin for error is minimal. Even more so considering the process of basketball globalization that has taken place during the last decades, which has allowed players from all over the world to reach the NBA and the world's basketball elite.